start doing some of your favourite activities. So,
You mean when I was a child?
child,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. I suppose so I grew up in the dormitory, and we had like a lot of girls and boys with us. I think because we had to rise like 6 in the morning, and we had to do like a lot of duties first. But it was before that, if you got up at 5, we all went down the creek for a swim. So one of our dad and a couple of the aunties and uncles would say, swim-o at 5 o'clock, so we'd all bounce up out of bed and we'd go down for a swim down to the creek and play and whatever before we came home back. And then like at school, we didn't have like play equipment like today. We had one monkey bar and a slippery slide, but all the rest of the time was up to us to create play.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember when the groundsman never used to cut the lawns, the grass used to be high, so all of us in our days, we used to grab the roots together and tie them so that when the kids run through, they flip over. Yeah, and I think we did a lot, like we had pine trees and like 3 rows of pine trees, and we used to all play hide and seek or tag around those sorts of things. We did play like an alphabet game where one stood up the other end and we stood up one end. A group of us stood up, so the leader was up there and they'd yell out a letter, and if it was the beginning of your name, you took 6 steps. If it was a little vowel in your name, you took 3. But it was the first one to get from this end up to that end, and then we'd swap over. So yeah, we created like a lot of, we used to play secrets. So secrets was, we'd collect different coloured paper from our lolly packets, and we'd bury them like in the ground with the glass over the top, and everybody had to find your secret. But by doing that we'd go cold, hot, warm, whatever. And so when they got close, you'd go really, really hot, and then they'd dig on the ground for your coloured paper, and then it became their coloured paper. So we always looked out for the prettiest colour paper, and we just kept it like beside in our pockets or whatever. Yeah. We did play a lot of marbles, but like you know, there were 3 holes and then a poison hole. Yep. So where you had to go get in there to get poison, then you can come out and then you can attack all the other marbles, and then you'd end up with, you know. And then we'd play the big circle marbles where everybody put their marbles in there, and you'd have to sit on the sideline and flick the marble to knock the marble out. And once the marble got out of the circle, that was yours to keep. Yeah. So yeah, we played sticks back in the days, but think people, so that's where you jump between the sticks, and the last person was the measurer. So when that person jumped the last one, he'd move that last stick if he wanted to, or he'd pick a stick to make it difficult for you to jump between. Yeah. So yeah, we played a lot of tag, we played hide and seek, we climbed a lot of trees, we played under buildings. Yeah, we did a lot of stuff.
Do you get a sense of movement in that? Yeah. How much play involves movement? Okay. No mention of balls, maybe little tiny marbly balls, but and I also get a sense from you, your face lit up then, like you were having great memories. Yeah. And there was a lot of joy and pleasure in that. Yeah. Yeah. Do you encourage that now with your grandchildren? Is that like the play?
I let them play.
You let them play?
My husband wants to come, no, you don't do it like that. Just let them play. So, because he's a teacher, so, you know,
okay.
you got to build it this way. And so we have, but between the both of us, we just let the kids play. Yep. Like with my mum and that generation, kids, they panic. Because like we climbed trees, fences, like we did a lot of silly stuff, like even sliding down in the whole, there was a sawmill at the Sherbeg, and we just go down and slide down the sawmill straight into the water and not thinking about the big slithers or whatever. And but our parents were really cautious. Get out from there, don't do that. But like us, we just, and I let my grandchildren do that.
Yep.
Like even though I know they're climbing up inside, I'm panicking, but I thought, oh well, I fell hard, so you can fall hard. How are you going to learn to get up? And you know, yeah. And I think that's what when I played with all my friends, and it was boys and girls, and because we went out hunting, like on the weekends, our aunties took us out hunting and gathering and all that, and like we went out like in bush, and we used to love gum, and we used to make we used to run. As soon as we see that gum tree, and we see that gum tree was full of a lot of gum, we'd race in a race to see who'd be first one there. But the way that you'd get there first was that when you got there, you put your mouth on it so that nobody else could touch it.
You infected it.
So yeah, so we did like a lot of that stuff with like aunties and like a lot of swimming.
Yes.
Wasn't frightened of like when the floods come, we still went swimming.
Yep.
And we played a game underneath the bridge because there's the first bridge before you get to Sherbeg after the farm.
Yep.
That used to be flooded, and so
Yep.
all us kids used to go down there. And we'd jump on one side of the bridge and count under the water before you have to hook up to grab the end of the bridge, otherwise you just get washed down around the corner and around the bend, and it's like a kilometre walk back to the bridge. But we really, like for us, we really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was a challenge.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
a
it was
real
challenge,
deep challenge. Yeah.
And we used to play high diving, so we'd climb the tallest tree on the side of the river and see dive in from the tallest.
Head first.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to we even played so we never had no dolls or cars or anything like that. So we made our own cars out of sunshine milk. We'd get the little sunshine milk things and fill them up with dirt, put the little wire in between, and we'd drag it around, and that was our cars. And we had blocks that we'd make like underneath the buildings. We'd do all like roads and build little buildings, but it was all like nothing flash. But that was our little world of trying to create play, you know, with roads and buildings and all that. We even made our own stilts. We made our own go-karts out of old prams and stuff. We even made a merry-go-round out of an old wagon wheel. And
Like the best childhood ever.
yeah, I think because we just had to be creative.
Yes. Yeah.
And because like school, like when you went to school, it was school.
Yep.
And it was structured play, and you had to do gymnastics, and you had to do basketball or things like that. So, and we did all that, but we enjoyed like our lunchtime activities and just play and
using your imagination.
Yeah, and everything like that. And because, like I said, we only had the monkey bars and a slippery slide.
Were there any really hard lessons that you learned with that unstructured play? Like, did anybody break anything or hurt themselves? You know, to the extent where you all got a fright and you had to, you know.
Yeah, I feel like swimming in the river. Like one of the boys jumped in and split his head, and so we all had to then cart him up to the hospital. He ended up with 100 stitches in his head. Yeah. One of the boys with the go-kart, it ripped all his leg up there because we didn't put the bolt in properly.
Okay.
Another fellow was playing Tiggy, and he ran around the clothesline and he caught his hand on the bolt and he ripped that all over.
Okay.
Another one when we was playing, when we had one of the first families had a trampoline, and he invited us up and we was jumping on his trampoline, and he wouldn't let me have a go. And I said, "Come on, boy." I said, "Let me have a go." He said, "No, it's my turn." He kept bouncing. But he bounced off and he bounced on the picket fence. So he impaled, you know, so. But I was the one that had to get him off and take him across to the hospital. Yeah, so
but nobody ever impaled themselves ever again?
No. We decided to move the trampoline away from the
okay, so that's knowledge.
So like even though we did all that, we still like, you know, one day's out of hospital back to play. And whatever, like hardly any breaks, like broken arms or legs. Just like little stuff, I suppose.
stitches, that's nothing.
Yeah, just stitches.
Yeah, that's right. Would anybody like to ask Aunty Faith a question? Would there be? No?
I guess I just wonder, when you begin to share, like we can all, I guess, see that joy as well. And does it make you kind of reconnect with those feelings and want to, I guess, do more in that space now?
Yeah, I suppose so. Like, especially with our young ones, because we're seeing a lot of them not playing. They want to play, you know, on their computers, or I'm too tired or whatever. So like when I do a lot of our workshops or our camps and everything, they're not allowed to bring their laptops or their phones or anything like that. And we go out in the bush. I try to look for accommodation where we're out. Yeah, they can still have the luxury of toilet and beds, but like the rest is like bush where they gotta get out. And they go, some of them when they first start, oh, this is boring. And I said, get in the car, you can get home. No, there's no boring, not a word they let us say. And because we're only close, we can, like 20 minutes, half an hour. And they go, oh, no, sorry, Auntie, you know, whatever. So, and I said, don't just know how to go out and play. Some of them don't know how to go outside and play. Even my kids, get outside and play. Oh, what for? But where we was outside all the time. Like, you know, we never, only two of my sisters were book freaks, so they'd sit in and read a book or whatever. Rest of us, like, we were just too happy because we grew up in the dormitory, so you was in 4 walls, you know. Then you went to school, you was in 4 walls. So, and then like because we had a curfew, you had to be in your homes by 5 o'clock. You weren't allowed to run the streets, so you was back in the dormitory in 4 walls. But in saying that, when we was in the dormitory, we did get up to mischief. There was like stairs and everything, so we did a cardboard box and slide down the stairs, or you know, jump around the beds and you know, do all sorts of things. Slide on the, because we had to have their floors polished, so we'd all slide and slide the furthest in our socks or our, you know, so all that sort of stuff. I actually enjoyed my childhood, like even though when I look back about the acts and everything that I was under, that didn't impact me in my childhood. It impacted me when I became an adult and I went back and realised, oh, that happened to me. Because like we used to go, you know, like chase the pigs, you know, chase the horses, go hunting and get, like I said, we'd go out bush for hours. And aunties would show us, you know, where, you know, different kidna was or different things where we could go and where we couldn't go. A lot of it was swimming. So like, I think the first time I learned to swim was Dad just chucked me in the water. I think I was about 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Just threw me in the thing and I was drowning. Dad, and he said, swim. How are you going to learn to swim? So I had to learn to swim. And all of us went through all that stage. We never was taught like, you know, put down like this, or you know, or breathe, or yeah. So we just, you know, so and a lot of our play was we invented because we didn't have nothing, so we didn't know what it was like to play with the doll. Even like I asked Nan one time, I said, Nan, did you have a doll? She reckoned my doll was a beer bottle and a beer bottle. So yeah, and so we never grew up with any of those things. We just, like, for us, we had the bestest time because we only had like, we'd fight over, the only thing we do is we'd fight over the slippery slide. We had a seesaw too. And we'd fight over the seesaw.
Yeah.
And, but
it's 2, only one on
only,
either
yeah,
end.
one on
Yeah,
each
yeah,
end,
my turn, my turn.
Yeah. But we did like a lot of skipping. We built our own stilts.
Yeah.
We built from the old sunshine cans. We also built, you know, the sticks where you put the rope with. Yeah, we did all that. We even had the long planks where we put the things and we'd race and like we did a lot of creative stuff.
And can I ask how involved adults were in all of that?
No, none.
None.
None. It was just kids all playing. The only time they'd come out is when they see us and go, get inside, it's 5 o'clock. Yeah.
See, that's extraordinary, really.
Aunty Faith, I hear a lot of the stories. There seems to be a lot of danger and risk and challenge. And you talk about jumping out of trees, sliding down stairs and cardboard boxes. Did you just Can you tell us about the first, like the time when you jumped out of your tree? Did you jump really high or did you start low? Or when you slid downstairs, did you go from the top?
No,
or did
that
you
was
start
like
from the bottom?
2 stories downstairs, like, yeah, just that. So probably no brain, no pain. Now, you just don't think about those things.
Did you go straight to the top and jump, or did you start lower? And
No,
work your way
in the tree, you just went straight to the top. Like I was that silly one time, like we made a cubby house in a tree and my brother was soaring for a branch and I was standing on the branch that he was soaring instead of like holding on to something, and I was jumping on that branch so it could snap, because all we wanted to do was get the cubby house built before the sun went down. And so by the time he and it cracked, I fell straight down out of the tree, you know. But I got up and said, come on, let's, you know, I cried for a little while, I ate myself, but got up and dusted myself off, and it was just like rough and ready, I suppose. We had no sense of danger. Even like with the cardboard boxes sliding down the hill straight into the river, we built, you know, galvanised iron boats, filled it up with tar and went cruising up the rivers. And this is between the ages of probably 5 to 30, you know, that we did. But we had like, all of us, we did it in groups, like, so there was no, and the girls and boys, we did it together and we all protected each other and everything. And there was no leader. There was no, you know, we gotta do it this way or we gotta do, everybody just got in, like somebody would suggest, let's go climb trees. So like 50 of us kids run and find the closest tree and climb up to the top, and we'd climb right up and sit on the branch that would break, you know, and it would break and you'd fall down on the mob below you. Yeah. But that's just the way like we played.
I feel like we could talk to Aunty Faith all day. There's so much. Look, thank you very much for sharing those absolutely gorgeous stories. And, you know, for me, I can get a real sense of your of childhood freedom, of joy, of all the things that you must have done with your bodies in every imaginable way in terms of play. And I have a real sense that you've brought that with you right through for your grandchildren and into your work as well. And it is who you are. Thank you.
And to this day, I haven't broken a bone in my body.
Okay, all right, okay. All right, thank you very much.